He was ready to go for
His
more.
mouth was substantially larger than Grant's.
What's interesting, I feel like Jesse's mouth has a small opening, but a wide cavern.
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to another Dear Shandy Bachelor recap, listeners. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm good. You look marvelous.
Thank you, husband. I actually have a bit of a story about this dress.
Let's hear it.
So we just closed this opera after 8 performances, and I had rented this dress to wear to a closing night party if there were one, but then there wasn't one.
Oh, so sad. You're all dressed up and nowhere to go.
All dressed up, nowhere to go. And I figured, I had rented the dress. Like, you pay money to rent the dress. So I was like, I'm going to wear it in a recap, damn it.
I love it.
Thank you.
This is more important anyway.
It is.
Yeah,
exactly.
Some after party.
It's true.
But I do have to give you kudos. Sharleen did an amazing 8 performances. 8.
Thank you.
You were incredible.
all
Absolutely in awe.
All 8 were not incredible, but thank you.
All right.
In fact, some of the Shandies, there was one performance that I was really not happy with. And there were a bunch of Shandies at that one, and they were so sweet, you guys. First of all, thank you to all the Shandies that came in general.
So many Shandies came out. So many. They honestly were the sweetest. It was. So, I mean, I don't even know what to say.
You guys are the best. And in the case of this particular performance, I was so just beside myself. Like I was so unhappy with how it went. And you guys know who you are. Like, I start crying.
Yes, you did. You started crying in front of a bunch of Shandies.
Yeah, but you guys made me feel so much better.
But let's be clear. The crying was, no one thought that the performance was bad except you.
It was,
so let's be clear about that.
They were very kind. They said that it was good, all the things, but they made me feel a lot better. And it was just one of those moments where you're like, it's put in perspective what matters. And, what matters is like the connections with people and not necessarily like perfection on a stage. Anyway, okay, so opera done. Seattle done soon, although we're still here clearly for now. And there were 2 other things that are not technically housekeeping, but we were talking about this morning. And then we were like, we should talk about this in housekeeping and see what the Shandies think. So if you are not the housekeeping kind, coming around to Dear Shandy, all you want is content. All you want is the recap itself.
Pure uncut content.
Then this is your opportunity to scroll down to timestamps and see where it says Women Tell All kickoff, and you can skip over all of this.
And you will all be dead to us.
We've been having an ant problem here in Seattle.
The ants have come.
And usually when I like tidy up, you get rid of like errant crumbs around the kitchen. This goes away in a day or 2, but Seattle, I don't know if it's this Airbnb or what, but we've been having a big ant problem. And the problem is that whenever I ask Andy, I'm like, take out the trash, do this, do that. He's just not bothered by the ants. All I get whenever I ask Andy to do anything about the ants is some fun fact. I get some fun fact about how wonderful and amazing ants are.
Well, it's interesting because you asked me what the ants are eating. You're like, I just had flowers in there, or I had some like old
we have
fish
like
skin or
the
something.
food waste disposal thing.
Yeah.
Like there's no food waste in the trash can. I don't understand.
Well, what the ants are not actually eating the things you're putting in there. What they're doing is they're taking it back to their colony, and they're growing fungus that they then eat and feed to their little babies. And yes, the ants are farmers.
Yes.
And it's quite fascinating. I mean, the ants are the most amazing. Honestly, I've been amazed by many animals in my life. Mm-hmm. Ants, in some ways, take the cake. And there are probably like 1,000 ants for every human on Earth. And they will be here long after we're gone, laughing away in their little tunnels. And they're amazing creatures. They're farmers.
Yes.
They're just farmers. That's all they do.
I understand that they're amazing. You keep talking about how clean they are.
Clean.
And I mean, Andy's a germaphobe.
You could be covered with ants. You don't have to worry about germs.
Yeah, but I still don't want ants around me.
Ants are not great to have around, but you have to respect them.
Okay. And then what was the final thing we were talking about this morning?
Well, I started to take these low dose iron supplements because now I'm not eating meat. It's like I feel like I'm missing a little iron, so I take like a little iron, and it tastes exactly like blood.
Yeah,
because the taste of blood is iron. And then I was telling you, which is one of my favorite facts in the world, is that the only place where iron is created in the universe is in the core of stars. And the only way that iron gets out of the stars is for those stars to explode. And the only way that iron floating in the universe gets to us is for it to just fall into Earth and then eventually seep into our bodies through food. And the reason your blood is red and the reason it tastes like iron is because your blood all comes from the center of an exploding star.
Oh, Andy, so nice.
Next time you're worried about something trivial, like you're late for an appointment, or you lost some money doing something.
Okay,
something reckless.
Okay, maybe you did some day trading.
Yeah,
It didn't go well.
Bad day trading. Yes. You can think that every drop of your blood comes from the center of an exploding star, and things don't seem that big a deal anymore.
Every drop?
Every single drop. Every single molecule of iron.
Oh, of iron, but your blood isn't entirely iron.
Your blood is red because of iron. Your blood works because of iron and hemoglobin.
Well, what percentage of your blood is iron?
It doesn't matter. It's like saying what percentage of like lemonade is lemons. What is lemonade without lemons?
Okay. Very good. Very good fun facts this morning. We are going to recap Women Tell All now. Shall we get going, Angie?
Let's do it.
I have mixed thoughts on this Women Tell All episode. In some ways, it was like every Women Tell All we've ever seen. But in other ways, I was like, it could have been worse.
It could have been worse.
So right off the bat, we get Word Watch 1. In Jesse's intro, he talks about a ton of drama. And at this Women Tell All are Janae, Beverly, Alicia, Vicky, Ella, Chloe. Chloe gets a massive
people love
applause.
Chloe.
Yeah, I mean, I liked Chloe too, but I was like...
I don't know how she made such a big splash.
Yeah. Allie Jo, Rose, Parissa, Bailey, Natalie, Carolina, Alexe, Sarafiena, and Dina. And Carolina is wearing what appears to be a custom blazer that reads "Crazy and Evil" on the back. And there's a little bit of talk about Zoe, who's not there to defend herself. But it's mainly about how Zoe ruffled some feathers in the beginning. Sarafiena claims that the short dress comment was something she said in a state of high stress, and it was the worst thing she's ever said.
Worst thing she's ever said. I'm gonna call BS on that.
I'm gonna call BS as well, partly because I don't think it was necessarily so terrible. I understand she's friends with Zoe now, but this to me reduced Serafina's credibility by about 10%.
Yeah. I mean, if that's the worst thing she's ever said, she just doesn't say enough things.
Yes, I agree. Okay, and we right away get Word Watch 2 and 3. Jesse says the drama wasn't just Zoe, and also Zoe wasn't the only one causing drama. Some really creative writing there. Now, attention goes over to Carolina. And I mean, this really is, she called it the Carolina show.
Yeah.
And it really is, because I got to say, one of the reasons why this Women Tell All had any activity whatsoever is because Carolina was back on it.
Damn straight.
So first, it's Carolina versus Rose. Rose goes over what happened. So what happened behind the scenes that night when Rose and Carolina were chatting. I've got to say, though, I feel like we got nothing new. And that's how I felt about this Women Tell All on the whole. We kept being teased. Oh, we're going to get answers. We're going to be told what happened. What did you really talk about? But Rose reveals nothing about this behind the scenes conversation that she didn't say on the show itself. She basically says that they were girl chatting, that they were comparing notes, and Carolina wanted to know what Grant had said to her. So basically she made it sound like Carolina wanted to know everything that came out of Grant's mouth. And meanwhile, Carolina's beef here, so she's not gone after Rose here. She's actually going after Grant, which I think is an interesting tack. She says that she didn't mean to make a big thing out of it, but what went wrong was when Grant wanted to go to Rose to fact check this whole thing. And I gotta say, as much as I am typically Team Carolina, I think Dina actually had a point here when Dina said that's what Carolina had just done to Grant. So Carolina's upset at Grant for going over to Rose to be like, hey, well, what the hell? But truly, Rose is feeling that way about Carolina for going to Grant and saying, hey, what the hell?
Right, it's a wash.
It is a wash. As much as I think Rose had a good showing at this Women Tell All, I still have a hard time with the idea of telling someone something that you know will hurt them. I understand they were girl chatting and comparing notes. Carolina was asking a lot of questions, all that stuff. I still feel though that it would take a lot for me to tell a friend of mine that a guy, and I'm trying to think of a situation where I would tell the friend this. Do you know what I mean? Knowing that it would hurt her feelings.
No, Rose is still wrong.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed.
Oh, for you, nothing's
changed.
Okay. I mean.
Oh, I got an ant. Damn ants.
You found one on your neck?
Yeah, there was one crawling on my neck.
That's actually a nightmare. So lately I've been feeling like creepy crawly because I see ants in the kitchen, but then I never actually find one. Now you're making me realize that it could be a possibility.
Oh, yeah. There's probably one crawling up your leg right now. Trying to get something to farm fungus with.
Oh, God. And what's interesting about Carolina is I felt like Carolina throughout this Women Tell All was kind of targeting Grant, actually.
Yeah, she was trying to.
But it didn't really work because it didn't feel like anyone else was willing to play ball with her. And
it's the same theme as originally. She was kind of, the negative energy, in quotes, in the house.
Yes.
Directed at Grant, and they took that as an affront to them.
Yes.
So she became persona non grata. And it's the same thing in this Women Tell All. She was trying to take the same tack again, but what she doesn't realize is she doesn't have any allies in that argument.
Which I think gets to the core of the problem, because I actually don't think Carolina's wrong. No. I think Grant not being specific with his words, or what was the word? Impeccable with his word was part of the issue. And of course they get to that later. I also think Grant kind of like pulled the rug out from a lot of people. Sarafina's crying. They were talking about how blindsided she was. Carolina's talking about how blindsided she was. Alex is talking about how blindsided she was. A lot of these women, he led to believe he was going to, he told Sarafina, who was excited to meet her family. He convinced Carolina to stay at that final group date, only to send her home later on in that same episode. There was a lot of evidence to suggest that maybe he didn't play his cards exactly right to come out, looking squeaky clean. And I think it's interesting that, it shows that maybe he really was that likable that none of the women were willing to hold any of that against him, because they went pretty easy on him. And I mean, I guess they had the common enemy, which was Carolina. Right. This turns into Carolina versus Dina. Apparently they are feuding again. But this is interesting how Dina, I thought that there would be more addressing of the fact that Dina fully threw Carolina under the bus in that final week. But Dina kind of doubles down and she's like, no, not only did I not send you home in Edinburgh, but I earned you an extra week by talking you up to Grant the week before.
That's BS.
Do we buy this?
No.
I found this a little maddening. We have to just look at the actual facts here, right? So Carolina is pouty and grumpy. She's a cloud of negative energy on this group date. Fine. But Grant pulls her aside to talk with her. And if he were actually as turned off by her behavior, by her demeanor, as he puts it later, on that group date, he could have sent her home there.
Right there. Historically, that's what would have happened.
Yes. And instead, they kind of make it up. They actually end up having a beautiful conversation where he's talking about how he wants to be there for her. She has to be in it along with him. And then they end up having another conversation in the evening of that same group date. Yeah. Was he really he was I'm so flabbergasted that he, at the end of all that, was going to send her home at that same rose ceremony, in which case that's on him. That's really on him.
Well, I would say after that day, it seemed like she was the front runner almost.
Yes, I agree.
Not someone going home.
I agree.
So Dina's full of shit.
Okay. Yeah, I found this.
Even though her glasses suggest she knows what she's talking about.
I mean, she looks good in glasses.
Yeah. I mean,
do you have thoughts, Sandy?
I have thoughts, but I don't know.
What's wrong with her glasses?
No. The glasses are fine.
You felt that it was...
I'm just saying the whole getup felt kind of like, will the lady please approach the bench? And then it's like, bong,
Okay, so you felt she was leaning into her lawyer.
Just a little.
Okay.
I don't know.
I always love a fashion risk. Yeah. And so in that case, I thought Dina's outfit was actually almost a little too casual. Yeah. I wish that she had gotten more dressy in her attire, but I like a risk.
I like that. I'm just saying it's like you want to dress up for a lawyer on Halloween. That's the way you dress up.
Okay, well, she would have been wearing a suit, probably.
She'd wear a suit?
Yeah.
Is that what you'd wear on Halloween if you were dressed as a lawyer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So Dina saying she actually bought Carolina time had us both rolling our eyes a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think that you can buy anybody time on this show. I think what you can do is send someone home.
I mean, I really, if I was Carolina, I would have been infuriated by that comment.
I think that would have been the most infuriating thing to have heard in this whole Women Tell All.
Yeah.
I agree. So there's a TikTok feud between them, Andy.
The old tick feud.
So I guess Dina posted a TikTok saying when you defend someone and then you're played the next week, and then Carolina talks about receipts between their texts, and then Dina says, oh, when you take it to threat level. I have mixed feelings on this. I feel, okay, did Carolina escalate things quickly? Sure. But Dina threw the first stone, and she
certainly did.
She was like, "Oh, I was just commenting about within the show, within the four squares of the show."
She's lawyering her way out of it.
Dina does this a lot.
Yeah,
I find it a little exhausting. Yeah. It's like they're both hell bent on being right all the time, but Dina has this like holier than thou. She's always got a way to like make you wrong. And Carolina, meanwhile, always has a way to sort of be the victim. I feel like had Carolina been on a different season with a different Bachelor and different women, this would look completely different. Yeah. It's fascinating, isn't it? Yeah. But something about her with these women, it drove them crazy. And with Grant, in partly Grant because he heeded everything everyone said all the time, right. More so than other bachelors. Anyway, I'm ready to move on from these two. Eventually, there's no resolution. Jesse's like, okay, we'll move on. Are you feeling calm?
Every day. Every day I open that Calm app, I feel calm. That's what it does. It's impossible not to. Try it at home.
So Calm, I mean, who hasn't heard of Calm by now? It's the #1 app for sleep and meditation, giving you the power to calm your mind and change your life.
Whether it be the guided meditations, the sleep stories, which you love.
Mm-hmm. The sleep meditations designed to help you sleep, the grounding exercise, and the expert-led talks. They have this massive library that you can have access to. And let me tell you, this is just a great way to help yourself fall asleep at night, especially if you're like me and you have a hard time meditating. I really struggle to meditate, to turn off my mind. Mm-hmm. I'm one of those people that when I try to meditate, I start thinking about how I'm trying to meditate, and then I think about how I'm thinking about trying to meditate.
This is why we have a podcast.
And it's so helpful at night when I do a sleep meditation. I'm guided through it. I can apply my mind towards this meditation, and it's like my hand is held. It's so nice. And then you drift off. And I've been trying to like take fewer things to sleep at night. Mm-hmm. And it's just so nice to fall asleep in a drug-free way.
And you're talking about falling asleep. I will talk about waking up, because when I wake up, the first thing I do is go to my Calm app. And I'm telling you right now, since doing that, my days are better. Period.
So stress less, sleep more, and live better with Calm.
Calm is offering our Shandies an exclusive offer of 40% off a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/Shandy.
Go to calm.com, CALM.com/Shandy for 40% off unlimited access to Calm's entire library. Calm.com/Shandy.
So Sharleen, I've been learning a lot about my health recently thanks to Function Health. And what I have learned, your LDL cholesterol is a broad number. So when you go to your doctor and you get your regular checkup and they tell you your LDL, that's like going to a genetic test and being told you're a human man. As opposed to what your actual lineage is. There are several subsets of LDL. LDL total particle number, LDL size, ApoB. All these numbers are more important than the LDL number, and I've learned about them. And I'm so glad I learned about them now and not too late, because mine aren't very good.
Andy, oh my God, this ad is off to a very upsetting start.
But it's going to get better.
Yeah, well, because now
I know what to do. Function Health told me what I need to do.
You are armed with the information, and you would not have discovered all this about your
I was just kept getting the regular blood work I do every year, which is pretty broad. And I never would have known about this.
Well, doesn't the average blood test for like 19 different things?
Yeah, and Function Health tests for over 100.
Function is an all-in-one health platform that starts with over 100 advanced lab tests covering your entire body.
Heart, hormones, liver, kidneys, thyroid.
Autoimmunity, cancer signals, toxins, nutrients, and more. You pay an annual fee, and then that covers 2 lab visits a year to a Quest Diagnostics near you. And they have 2,000 plus locations across the country. And right off the bat, that, based on how many things, how many markers those two tests test for, you already are coming out on top with what
saving
you paid.
thousands. And if you think about it, your overall health is a novel. Are you going to really just read the cliff notes? Take ownership of your health, which no one else is going to.
Oh, God, it's such a dark ad, Andy.
That's me.
So Function still currently has a wait list, but they are offering our Shandies the chance to skip it.
Head to functionhealth.com/Shandy or enter code Shandy at sign up to skip the wait list.
We have Word Watch 5 and 6 here. Jesse says he's introducing Alexe. He talks about how Alexe wanted to keep things drama-free and asks her, did the drama finally catch up? And then Alexe has the hot seat. I have to touch on something here that rubbed me wrong. I'm not to be negative. Soon you're going to have to come in with your positivity, Andy.
Oh, no, not this time.
In this case, he was like, what happened with Alexe? He's like, let's find out what happened. Let's watch back what happened. It started out so strong. You got the first impression rose. What happened? And then we didn't actually find out what happened. We were just told that the drama caught up.
What does that mean?
How is
I
that?
didn't sense any drama there. What was the drama?
No, he's suggesting that Carolina and the other women caused Grant to lose interest in Alexe.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Where was the drama with Alexe?
Exactly.
No, you can't have drama elsewhere and it affect Alexe.
Exactly. This was such a non-explanation.
Yeah,
and to me, being promised answers or like a what happened,
Yeah.
that only then to talk more about drama. I'm like, oh, come on. I did love how Alexe joked that she thought she had it in the bag. I thought this was very cute. And here we get Word Watch 6, 7, and 8. Jesse says, you tried to avoid the drama. And at what moment did you feel like the drama was starting to creep in? And it's Linda, the no drama llama. Linda returned. So yes, Alex's whole thing was somehow about drama, even though she was the most drama-free contestant on, I would say, the entire season. To be honest.
Makes no sense.
And we got no answers.
Will we ever get the answers?
I feel like she had a kind of curse, like that you occasionally get a contestant like this who starts out unbelievably strong. They get the first impression rose. They get an early date. It's like they're the one to beat. And then it just kind of fizzles. And I wish it would just be addressed for having fizzled.
Maybe she didn't like his music enough.
She was the one lady to be serenaded.
Yeah.
Okay, so now Sarafiena is in the hot seat. During her recap, we see her cry to Grant saying, I feel really blindsided. And I took note of this because I don't remember this.
I don't remember it either.
Like him actually comforting her, hugging her. She's like sobbing.
Don't recall.
I feel really blindsided. And I don't remember seeing this. And maybe I'm just being a bad recapper. I mean, we've been very busy. I just don't remember this scene.
Yeah, me neither. We both don't remember it.
Yeah.
Is it possible we both fell asleep at the same time?
I just thought this was kind of like a striking scene.
Yeah.
You would think Sarafiena would hold Grant to this a bit more. Like him saying he's so excited to meet her family only to then send her home. I don't know. It's not that he's not, I think he's doing what every bachelor has to do. I just was really impressed, I guess, by his management of their feelings to the point where they spared him, to be honest. The whole idea of women tell all or men tell all is that the lead comes out there and they're kind of nervous because like, oh, I have to face all these women that I rejected or who I kind of duped to some degree. And they weren't holding him to anything.
Yeah, somehow Grant is immune to the bullets.
Yeah.
He's Teflon. Don't know why.
Sarafiena says Grant did give her validation, said he was excited to meet her family. And she says she wouldn't jump off a bridge for someone she's willy-nilly about.
I'm not sure willy-nilly was the right usage there.
Oh, so
but I like it. It's cute.
I thought it was funny, so I took note of it.
Yeah.
Willy-nilly.
Willy-nilly. Willy-nilly's
it's a great expression. I've never heard it used in this context, and we know what she means. And I just think it reminds me of, there's a line from Clueless where Cher is teaching Ty what the word sporadically means. And then Ty uses it in a sentence and Cher's saying, oh, like, see you soon. Oh, no, it's the brother, Paul Rudd's character. He's like, oh, see you soon. And she's like, I hope not sporadically. It reminds me of that. A highlight of not only Sarafina's hot seat time, but I think the entire Women Tell All is her mother coming on video here. So it surprises her.
Yeah.
And her mother says that she did watch the kissing. And she says, remember, I'm always watching. This was adorable.
Cute.
Her mother, oh my
Sweet.
gosh.
Yeah.
So now we get a preview of the next season of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And Andy, you had another rant to go on about this show, even though we don't watch it.
I just won't accept it.
What
It's
part
not
of
real
it?
Mormon life. I don't accept it.
So you think Mormon is just being used in the title as like clickbait?
I don't know what's going on. I just know that this feels exploitative. It feels like this isn't really Mormon life. Maybe this is 0.1% of Mormon life. And again, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm just taking a wild guess here.
We don't watch the show.
I don't watch the show, but I will say that
I'm not interested. I got to say the previews.
I feel like this is just the Jersey Shore and they throw the word Mormon in.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, Mormon, that makes it even more crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't watched it.
Yeah,
so
you
who am I
guys
to
let
know?
us know if you think Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is actually a phenomenal, high quality show.
And also Mormons out there, tell us, is this really a thing?
That's okay. So we learned last week, I mean, we did know we have Mormon Shandies, but we were blown away and very touched actually by the response. We had a lot of Mormon Shandies tune in to tell us about the hot beverages and could Grant really be welcomed in, to
no conclusion on the hot beverages, by the way. None.
And also not really on the marrying in thing without becoming Mormon.
A lot of gray area, apparently.
If there's one thing I've learned about the Mormon faith, it's that it's kind of like case by case. Like it depends on your family and
your
how
interpretation.
Strict.
It's a loose interpretation. I had some people who were like, hot beverages, absolutely no. And some people were like, absolutely, you can drink hot beverages all day long, no problem.
Yeah.
Almost mocking me.
Yeah.
It was both sides.
Yeah.
And then some people in the middle, like, I don't know. We still don't know. We sort of just don't drink caffeine because,
it's frowned upon
coffee
generally.
is usually hot and
they talked about
a caffeine thing.
Any mind altering, but sort of like anything that alters your natural state. So caffeine counts.
It's super interpretive is my conclusion. We did have one scholar, a Mormon scholar, write in.
Yes. In an email.
In an email.
Yes.
And a full long email with bullet points and very well written. This guy clearly knows what he's doing. And he could not come to a firm conclusion on whether you can drink hot beverages or not. Yeah.
All right. And then I would also say the whole not being Mormon and marrying in thing. In general, I felt it leaned a little more like it's frowned upon if they're not Mormon.
Yeah, definitely.
But it was still kind of like depends how strict you are. Yeah. One family,
I think there is a wide range of Mormons. And apparently at the very bottom of that barrel is this TV show.
Okay, so our Mormon Shandies, we request more intel from you. Let us know if there's anything legit about Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I'm actually curious, but I don't want to watch to find out. No. Not that I would find out that way. Okay, so now Dina is in the hot seat. She says it was her decision. She reveals this, and it's kind of like, shocking. She reveals it was her decision not to have her family be a part of the show because it was actually causing a rift in her family because half of them were game and half of them were not game. And so that explains why. Didn't she have like 10 siblings?
It's a lot of family to not invite any family.
Yeah.
I feel it feels a little BS, that explanation.
You felt so,
Yeah, it's like, okay, so half your family's not into it, half your family's into it. Just have the families into it go. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
There was something else going on.
Well, knowing this information, I believe her when she says it was her call. And I think that might have thrown a massive wrench into the show because she said she only canceled it like 2 days before, right? And that is a lot of footage that they no longer have. And instead they're at this like pumpkin patch carnival
They scrambled.
place.
It was a scramble hometown.
Totally. And it felt that way. And I think that production was probably like not thrilled with that decision on her part.
No.
Because it really, that episode was lacking.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this episode, normally Women Tell All is kind of hit or miss, but I mean, that hometown week.
It's the worst hometowns ever.
Her hometown was just abysmal. It was a disaster.
Yeah, so it was her fault.
And I would have liked to have seen where Dina came from, even if it was like one sister.
That's what I'm saying. Just
one lone sister.
She has like 800 family members.
Yeah.
You just get like 3 or 4.
Yeah. Anyway, they keep talking about Dina being such an ice queen. I don't
know. Sort of, I guess.
I think that I have a slight beef with someone describing themselves as an ice queen. It's a little like describing yourself as a lone wolf.
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's
It's
true.
like all she's missing is a forearm tattoo of her with like
Well, I mean,
icicles around her.
I mean, I guess she recognizes the fact that she's a little emotionally closed off.
I mean, I don't actually find Dina. I think that she's just like a slightly different personality type than most of the people on this show. But I just think Ice Queen is a little like hard, like it's a little harsh. I don't think that it suits her. I actually think Dina is really quite warm with the people that it's clear with her friends on the show.
Maybe it was Grant. Maybe she was like that with Grant because she was walled off. She wasn't ready to give him everything.
Yeah. I didn't find her to be that ice queenie. I feel like we've seen ice queenier people on this show.
Yeah, she could step up her ice queen game.
Can we not have like different? Does everyone have to be warm? And if they're not warm, they're an ice queen.
Well, I think it's.
I actually think Dina's most charming trait is the fact that she's not as like.
Yeah, it's a little more real. I think that being a little bit guarded on the show is totally reasonable.
Yes, and I actually don't think she's even that guarded.
Yeah.
If you think about
so basically, we're maligning her for not being enough of an ice queen.
Okay, so now Carolina finally has her hot seat. Lots of tears here. When her epilepsy comes up, she cries more. And we learn, I thought this was interesting. She says she's typically an open book about 99% of things, but this is actually something she's very private about. There's a little bit of weird editing. So Carolina talks about how she feels she's taken accountability. She just wishes that, other women would take accountability. And then Dina pounces on her about what the word accountability means. I'm torn on this because I think Dina came off super condescending.
Yeah. Let's just remember, one of these two women told Grant that the other one should be sent home.
Only one. Point. Yeah. Carolina never did that to anyone.
No, Carolina never threw anyone under the bus with Grant. She just told Grant that she was having trouble.
Yeah.
She talked about her troubles.
However, we were talking about Ben in Love is Blind, this image management, right? And you could argue it's not entirely authentic to be so intent on managing your image. But what Ben is very good at is falling on his sword in the interest of making himself look better.
Right. Well, it's just diplomacy.
Yes.
So in these women tell-alls, you have to, if you have a big bone to pick, you have to mix it with a little bit of diplomacy.
Yeah, and you have to pick your battles. So I think Carolina's tack should have been more focused on one specific thing. And I think the thing should have been the fact that Dina basically sent her home in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Because I think that was the true betrayal. She never talked about anyone else that way. And she should have fallen on her sword about the being grumpy, whatever. Just generally not getting along with people. I think she should have just been like, I was in a high stress situation. I certainly wasn't my finest. It wasn't easy watching back, yada, yada, yada. I'll learn from this experience, just like say all the things that you're supposed to say.
Right.
Case closed, done, move on with your life. The main reason I say this is because I think that it would add credibility to the thing that she has actual beef about. Pick the one battle that matters most and that you're the most right about.
Well,
frankly.
That's the thing. I think there was a buffet of things she had a bone to pick about in front of her. And she had too big an appetite and she went to eat everything too fast.
I agree.
She tried to get everything done at once.
Yeah.
And all that did was create yelling matches and animosity. And she got even more emotional. She had to leave for a second.
I actually did feel, I am impressed that she was able to handle that, to be honest. Like, people were coming at her from all angles. And I understand part of it is like she created that in some way, but also I don't have the nerve for that. Like she really was, she's a tough cookie.
Tough. Caroline is tough. I just think a good rule of thumb in these women tell-alls is if you are enemy number one, you can't come in with guns blazing.
I mean, this goes all the way back to, the most famous villain ever on the show. Ugh, such a shame you never saw that season. We should watch it for fun sometime. Ben Flanick's season. Courtney Robertson was enemy number one. And she came to Women Tell All. And I, to be honest, at the time, I was like, wow, I'm amazed she went. It was that level. Carolina here too. You're almost like, wow, they went. And from what I recall, you're not contractually obliged unless they've changed that since my days, which is totally possible. It's been a minute. But it worked in that it made Courtney a sympathetic character.
That's the thing. Carolina literally went into this Women Tell All with vengeance written on her jacket. And it's too bad because I was really looking forward to a very like even-handed approach to getting to the bottom of all these things, and maybe for Carolina getting some justice.
Yes, me
I
too.
wanted Carolina's justice, and I didn't get it.
Me too.
I'm still Team Carolina. Nothing's changed.
Yeah.
I'm just upset that I didn't get the dessert that I feel like I deserve.
Yeah, no, it's true. You went to, oh my God, it's like when you go to a really nice restaurant. We do this. When we go to a really good restaurant and you taste like the second appetizer and you're like, or at least I'm like, we're getting dessert.
Oh, yeah.
Because I now, based on having tasted a couple things here, I want to get dessert. And how awful is it when you have all these great, you're like, appetizer was good, the entree was good, blah, blah, blah. And then you order the dessert and the dessert's like,
yeah. It's like a cold.
It's
like too cold. You ever get those desserts where it's too? It's not supposed to be
or
super
too dry.
cold. Dry.
You know what those
cold.
places make the mistake of doing? It's like they have this amazing chef, but then they thought that just because they have an amazing chef, they can like have that same chef or have the sous chef or whoever just like make a dessert. A restaurant of that caliber needs to have a dedicated pastry chef.
A pastry chef.
They're not the same thing.
Hiring a pastry chef is the same thing as hiring a good customer service for a company.
Yes.
Think about when you call up every time someone calls customer service, they're like, oh, here we go. This will be like an hour of my day ruined. And someone gets on, it's like, hey, how can I help you? And you're like, oh, I have this problem. They're like, oh, I'll solve that for you right now. Give me a second. Solve. Done.
I mean, that happens.
How much do you love that company?
Maybe once a year.
Once a year. And when it happens, I thank them so profusely. I'm like, let me tell you something.
You know what company does that?
Squarespace?
Yes. Free ad. Not sponsored in this moment, but truly, when I talk about that in the Squarespace ads, I really do mean that. Okay,
so go to squarespace.com. No, just kidding. Not doing it. Use
code Shandy.
We're not doing it.
Okay, so pastry chef. Yeah, pastry chef.
Yeah, you need a pastry chef.
You need a pastry chef.
And I'll tell you something. If you have a bad restaurant and you hire a pastry chef, still works. Because people remember the last thing they ate.
Yes, but people might not order dessert because they were so disappointed with the other dishes.
Or people may just come there for dessert. That's not what you want. You don't want people hanging out for 2 hours eating dessert at your restaurant.
Yeah, I mean, truly, some restaurants' desserts have made me want to just go there for dessert.
So maybe if you have bad food, don't get a pastry chef. But if you have good food, get a pastry chef. Yeah. Okay, done.
Okay, so in conclusion, we just didn't feel like we got our dessert.
Didn't get the dessert.
Okay, so finally, Grant emerges. Some weird interactions here, to be honest. I felt, normally you get one woman at a time being like, what happened? And to be honest, I typically don't like the what happened. But in this case, I actually kind of was missing a little more what happened.
Yeah.
What happened?
What's going on with this season? It's like Grant feels like it's almost like he's like great leader. Like
yes.
don't say anything against the great leader.
Yeah.
It's like you get sent out back and executed.
I have to give him credit. Like he was likable enough that no one wanted to give him that. But I felt like Sarafiena, someone who was crying, I feel so blindsided. He was saying he was excited to meet my family. She is someone who I think was in a position to say what happened.
It's so weird. We've never had a women tell like this ever, where no one comes at the lead.
Yeah. Well, Dina, this is so odd. Our ice queen. I mean, this is why she's not such an ice queen. She cries over him having said in an ITM. See, even this, I was like, why this? He had said in an ITM during her hometown that her family not being there could be make or break. And he says, oh, it wasn't the family, blah, blah, blah. She said, oh, I'm sorry if you felt like not close enough with me that you could tell me that. And I gotta say, what I wrote was give me a break. He has to say things in his ITM. To me, him saying, oh, the family not being here could be make or break could not have been more meaningless.
This is what I'm going to say about this. In the past, we've had bachelors who have led women on.
Yes.
To, rose ceremonies and then let them go. Mm-hmm. And invariably, and the women tell all, they're like, what up? Well, what happened?
Yeah.
Tell me, explain this to me.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've never seen a bachelor lead more women on to rose ceremonies than Grant.
Yeah.
Yet he gets nothing at Women Tell All.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Explain this to me.
No, but he deserves, I guess, credit for being as likable as he was.
Is that it? He's just so likable that no one wants to say a cross word.
I think so.
Okay.
I think that they just all have affection for him. And you even saw him come out, all the women. It was so interesting. They were all like, and I wasn't sure because, sometimes the season will make it seem like all the women are really into the guy, but you're like, this is editing. Like, they're not that into him. In this case, they all like lit up. They were all smiling ear to ear. Like, they're all just like, when he came out, and I assume he's just really that lovely a human, to be honest. Yeah.
There's no other explanation. So Sharleen, spring is around the corner.
Yes.
And my cherry tree is waking up from its slumber.
Oh.
And it is going to continue its fast growing tendencies this season because fast growing trees is the place to go for trees.
Yes. We had dinner last night with friends. We got talking about fast growing trees and we went into like fast growing trees mode. We were like, well.
Oh yeah, we do it all the time. We accidentally start doing a fast growing trees ad.
Because Fast Growing Trees is the largest online nursery in the US. They have over 6,000 different varieties of shrubs, houseplants, trees, fruiting trees, flowering trees, everything you could possibly imagine, plus accessories. You love your hose.
Oh, this is the best hose I've ever had. You know how many hose I've gone through in my life? Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
You can actually filter based on your zip code, and then Fast Growing Trees will only show you results that will actually succeed where you live. And we know because we originally wanted a lemon tree, Andy.
How silly we were.
And then we put in our zip code and they were like, actually, you know what would do well for you is a cherry tree.
And now, well, it's done. We've been eating cherries.
Yes.
In the first year. I've ordered plants from other plant places before, and they come to you just on the door of death.
Yeah.
They're coming to you basically as a patient on life support. This came to me, it came out of the box singing.
Oh.
I am a cherry tree, look at my bark.
So this spring, Fast Growing Trees has the best deals for your yard, up to 50% off select plants and other deals.
And our listeners get 15% off their first purchase when using code Shandy at checkout.
That's an additional 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com using promo code Shandy.
Fastgrowingtrees.com, code Shandy.
Now is the perfect time to plant. Use code Shandy to save today.
Offers valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions may apply.
Andy, catch.
Oh, I thought it was full.
Well, that says it all, doesn't it? It's almost empty. Our mud water canister is almost empty. That is how much we love our mud water.
You have another mud water canister here, right?
No.
What are you talking about?
Well, we have it at home in New York, but we want to finish it. But we're going to finish it before it's time to leave
How many
Seattle.
servings are left in here?
Not many.
Why didn't you prepare better?
Okay, so mud water. Clearly, mud water is a big part of our lives. Look how upset Andy's getting. And that's because mud water is our afternoon pick-me-up. It's a delicious coffee alternative for us because I don't know about you, but I get jitters if I have too much coffee or really much coffee at all. No. Meanwhile, mud water is a mix of masala chai, cacao, lion's mane, cordyceps,
chaga, reishi, cinnamon, turmeric, and Himalayan salt.
Yes, doesn't that sound delicious? You know what it tastes like is like a delicious, sophisticated chai latte. Mm-hmm. I like to blend it with hot water, give it a whisk with some soy milk in there, and a tiny bit of honey. It's like an afternoon treat. I look forward to it. It's at the point where I'll look at Andy. I'm not even joking. This is a thing we do now. I'm like, Andy, would you like? And he's like, mud water.
Is it true?
This happens almost daily. Not every day though now because we have to ration how much we have left.
So is today a mud water day?
Maybe if you're good.
Okay. So if you're ready to make the switch to cleaner energy, head to mudwater.com and grab your starter kit today.
Right now, our Shandies get up to 43% off your entire order, plus free shipping, plus a free rechargeable frother when you use code Shandy.
That's up to 43% off with code Shandy at mudwtr.com.
After you purchase, they'll ask how you heard about them, support Dear Shandy, and tell them we sent you.
Keep your energy natural and refreshing all year long with mud water.
Because life's too short for anything less than clean, delicious energy. And Carolina, she asks when Grant clocked, the word was clocked, what Dina had said about, so she's been pretty much bringing up the whole Dina sending her home thing, although Dina claims she didn't send her home. In fact, the only reason she was there is because Dina kept her there, as though Dina has that power. Grant says now it was more about Carolina's demeanor in the group date settings, so making it more about, but this is, again, we don't have any actual answers. If it really were her demeanor in the group date setting, then why not send her home at that group day?
Well, he reinforced.
When she was basically asking, she said she was crying at the day portion of the group day, at the part that made everyone so upset. She was like, I just feel like you have stronger connections with other people.
She was asking to be sent home.
Yes.
And he instead reinforced his whatever for her.
Yes.
Love, I don't know.
Yeah,
his whatever, interest. His desire
his
for
interest,
her.
yeah. To me, this was just like another like maze, like in a maze where there's a dead end. There were a lot of those in this Women Tell All. It's we're going to have answers. Oh, what happened with that? Oh, no. What happened? What did Rose really tell her? They all led to dead ends.
This was the least answer giving Women Tell All I've ever seen.
I agree.
The only answer we got was that, and it was, I don't even know if I can believe it, is that Dina asked her family not to come.
Yes.
That's it.
That was a little interesting.
That's the only thing.
That was interesting.
Yeah, that's it.
You know what that information gave me was empathy for production.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, you guys were scrambling.
Yeah. Can you imagine how
Sucks
furious
to be you.
they were?
Yeah.
They're like, Dina, get son, just get a sister. One sister. You
Yeah.
have 50 sisters. Get one of them, please.
Okay, so now Jesse and Grant play Chubby Bunny, and I thought this was pretty funny.
No.
Yeah.
Jesse
demolished Grant.
And he knew too. You could tell. He was like, you want to go?
He was like, I think that your record was 5. He's like, I'm pretty sure I can crush that.
Yeah. He was ready to go for more.
His mouth was substantially larger than Grant's.
What's interesting, I feel like Jesse's mouth has a small opening, but a wide cavern.
He has a lot of space in there. A lot of space. Yeah.
It's like those hot dog eating champions. They're little people. That little Japanese girl.
Yeah.
It's insane. She's like 120 pounds.
Yeah.
She eats like a quarter of her weight in hot dogs in like 10 minutes.
Crazy.
Is there anything more disgusting than that?
I think hot dogs, I just have a hard time with hot dogs. I haven't eaten a hot dog since I was like 6 years old.
Hot dogs they can be pretty gross.
I just don't like thinking about what's in there.
Hot dogs are just whatever they want. Whatever the manufacturer wants, whatever's around that day goes in that dog.
I remember going to camp as a girl, and on Wiener night, I would just put the cheese in a hot dog bun and cook that over the fire, like make a grilled cheese for myself. Like I was like a little kid. I was like, I'm not eating that.
When I was a kid, I have so many memories of people just eating hot dogs and then puking.
Wow.
Yeah, like I remember, it's like every time we had hot dogs, some kid would puke.
Okay, so
it's like when we were little
suffice
kids.
to say, hot dogs is not one of the meat items that we miss.
No, but hot dogs back in the day were worse than they are now. I think now there's maybe a little better.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, no, they've some rules they've implemented
You think?
on hot dogs.
I don't know. I feel like the food industry is really like.
It's pretty rough these days.
Yeah, I feel like you can just sort of buy anything being kind of accepted.
No.
Yeah. Okay. I thought we're gonna try and be more positive though.
No. Hot dogs.
Hot dogs. It's good to have a destination for all those parts that aren't going to end up in anything else.
And you know why hot dogs are red?
Iron.
You got it.
Although with a hot dog, I feel like I wouldn't put it past them to put red food coloring.
Oh, there's no question that there's red dye in there too.
Yeah.
But
like
if they were actually...
how can they get it so consistent, the same color across
absolutely,
every single batch?
You're absolutely right. Hot dogs. America's favorite food.
Okay, so now there is a sponsored Snow White segment with the magic mirror, the mirror on the wall mirror from Snow White. I thought this was some brilliant cross-marketing.
Brilliant. And I didn't feel insulted by this because it kind of worked.
Well, and they made it interactive in a way where the mirror actually mirror on the wall, who's the messiest, cleanest, who naps the most, that kind of thing. Yeah. I thought that this was a really clever way of making the mirror like an integral part of this.
Yeah. Whoever was behind that knows what they're doing.
And it worked because, to be honest, I did not even know that there was a Snow White movie coming.
I won't be seeing it, but if I was in the market for a Snow White movie, that mirror would have made me see it.
You're not interested in seeing Snow White?
Are you interested? Snow White, the movie?
Yeah,
live action Snow White?
I gotta say, at some point, these movies... you know what it is?
There's literally no chance that movie's going to be good.
Oh.
None. Zero chance.
Sometimes these live action ones are pretty good.
Is it singing? Is there singing in it?
Yeah, there's probably going to be singing.
Okay. Maybe it'll be okay.
Yeah, at some point I stopped being interested in them, and I feel kind of sad to say that because I was at one point pretty interested in seeing these.
Well, they
I mean, it's my generation. I grew up with these Disney movies. The Snow White's a little before my time. Snow White's kind of like old timey. Yeah. And I honestly, Snow White, if I'm completely honest, when I was little, it kind of scared me.
Oh yeah. This is scary. I mean, it's like poisoning.
I think is it Snow White that goes, I know you, I walked with you once upon.
Isn't that Mickey Mouse? Oh, maybe you're right. I think that is Snow White. Wow, that's really good.
I think that's actually Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty, yeah.
Snow White is hi ho, Hi ho, it's off to work we go. Very nice, Andy. So even you know that one.
Yeah.
What makes you think it's not going to be good?
Maybe it'll be good. I don't know. I don't know. I've given up.
You know, it's so funny how with movies and movie theaters, they have to be so good for us to want to go now. And then if it's not good, it's like, oh, I left the house for that.
I mean, can we be honest? Movie business is over. The movie theater business is over.
Do we blame Netflix?
It's streaming.
Yeah.
There is some good stuff on streaming, but when you
the
go
movies on streaming are also, unless they're older movies.
yeah, no. It's look, when I was younger, I used to go to the movies. I used to go to the movies every week. I used to go to a movie theater once a week, and I would see half of the year. I would see good movies. I can't find 2 movies a year I want to see now in the theater.
Yeah, they're very heavily vetted before we go.
They're all diluted.
And it's like an event. But we said we were going to go once a quarter, Andy.
I know we lied. We lied.
No, we didn't lie. We're going to go.
You know,
it's still March. We still have a chance to go.
You know what ruined movies? I'm going to tell you right now. PG-13. Ruined movies. PG-13 gave you license to make the most diluted garbage you could possibly fish up. Because PG is good. That's like E.T., like kids stuff, or like really nice fairy tales or whatever. And R is for adults.
Yes.
That's adult movies.
Yes.
Where there's cursing and sex and guns and violence and all sorts of stuff. And you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about what you say or do.
Yeah.
And PG-13, it's like, you can have a little bit of that. You can have a little bit of this. And everyone happy.
I honestly...
No, everyone unhappy.
I thought...
All PG-13 movies are crap.
I thought that PG and PG-13 were kind of the same.
PG-13 is that you have to be 13. PG is just parental guidance. So it's like, you bring your kids, doesn't matter how old they are.
Use your own discretion.
Yeah, PG-13, it's like, oh, they have to be 13. Okay, great.
Also, 13 ain't what it used to be. I mean, isn't it funny what they will find on their phone? 13-year-olds today are exposed to so much more than I was exposed to at 13, just like in the palm of their hand.
Yeah, but this is the, anyway. Getting old sucks.
Yeah. You know, this is a great moment to tease that we have an episode, not recording for a bit, but later on in the year with a very exciting guest to talk about phones.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a big one.
Yes, we were really excited.
That's we booked it out. It's in June, right?
Yeah. It's a long time coming, but we've said that we wanted to make it happen. We're gonna make it happen. Also, we still need to make something happen with lucid dreaming.
Yes,
referencing our recent Q&A.
Yes.
Okay, so again, sponsored Snow White segment I thought was highly successful.
Let's go see the movie. I want to see the movie, and then we're going to talk about it after we see it.
Okay, all right. Okay, we'll review it. I mean, we do need to see one in this quarter. The major talking point with the Snow White segment is they include the clip of what Grant actually said to Rose about having thought about her while dancing on stage. To be honest, this is old news now.
Yep.
I mean, we addressed this weeks ago. But I do appreciate that Grant was like, I need to be more precise with my words.
Yeah.
I mean, Grant, talk about falling on the sword. Grant is an expert at falling on the sword.
You know what Grant is? Grant is PG-13.
He's also a gentleman.
He's a gentleman.
He is.
Look, I want to say something I want to make this very clear.
What?
I'm a big fan of Grant.
How have we not made that clear?
I'm just not a fan of Grant as the Bachelor.
I know.
It's like I may like a guy. I don't need him to be CEO of a company.
I don't think we need to defend this anymore, Andy. Okay. We'll move on to bloopers. I thought they were pretty good this year.
Yeah, they're good. Good bloopers. Yeah. I like them. They were good.
We're recappers, Andy. We recap even bloopers.
We do.
Okay. And now, Andy, do you have an A-game winner?
I'm going to have to go with Alexe.
Oh, I agree.
Right. Oh, you do?
Yeah. I thought Alexe was perfect.
She's a real sweetheart. What happened with her and Grant? Will we ever know?
No.
Alexe, will you come on our podcast and tell us?
We were promised answers. We never got any. I agree. Answers. I think Alexe was perfect. I thought that she, once again, was pretty drama-free, but she was so funny. Like, she has this, like, effervescence to her. And I just, even her look and the fact that she, you know, she's right next to Carolina. She would talk to Carolina here and there. But when everyone was, like, coming at Carolina, she was just like, you could tell she was just kind of over Canadian. I related to her because I remember on Women Tell All, I was in a similar seat as her, like kind of in the front towards one side. And I remember when there was a lot of stuff going on back and forth, I was kind of like, You kind of grow weary of it, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I
There's
just
a lot of shots of you in the background. Or just like hiding.
doing what Ruby does sometimes, going.
Isn't that the best?
I love
the
it.
dog sigh. Can never get enough of it.
Okay, so onto the fashion now. I have 2 best dressed, 1 runner-up, 1 best dressed. My runner-up is Bailey in her pale yellow, such a pretty shade of yellow, like a pastel yellow, knit lace. It was like an open knit lace dress with a plunge neckline, long sleeves. This was just such a cool dress. I have never seen anything quite like it.
Yeah.
Plus her hair was in braids now and this big ponytail. It was so dramatic. It was just fabulous. I also thought her accessorizing was really good because it would be easy to go too far. And I thought that she showed a lot of restraint and it was just beautifully styled. She looked gorgeous. And my best dressed is Alexe. Alexe is our big MVP
Big
of
winner.
this Women Tell All. She was wearing a pale sage silk looking open back asymmetrical dress. The neckline was so interesting. It showed off her tattoos in a really cool way. And the couple of moments where I saw the back, I was like, oh, that's so pretty. Her hair had a center part. It was back. It was a perfect way to highlight the shoulders, the neckline. It was just perfection. Even the earrings, the styling, her makeup was just like, there was nothing I would change.
Now, if I knew that there was a Bachelorette season coming up,
Oh, I would think Alexe.
Alexe might be it.
I agree.
Or Carolina's got a little too much dirt on her now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
No, you gotta, again, the image management.
Yeah, you got to be squeaky clean.
Yeah.
Gotta
And
be
Alexe is squeaky clean while still having edge, by the way. That's what I like about Alexe is she's not just like saccharine.
No.
You know, sometimes someone's so sweet that you're like, okay, but
I'm putting my flag on the Alexe Hill for Bachelorette in 2028.
I feel like
Whenever they have Bachelorette again.
Okay, and now that brings us to our word watch. There were 8 dramas in this episode. Fewer
8.
than I would have expected, actually. And we have to give a special shout out to our dear friend Livia, who counted our word watch. Well, she double counted for us because we did count as we watched, but it was a very, very, very late night for us.
Yeah.
And she was like, can I help in any way? And we're like, actually, you could help.
She gave us timestamps.
She was amazing.
Livia is one of those people, you give her a job and she does it 10 times better than you wanted, and you actually feel bad because then you feel like you owe her something. You're like, crap, now it's on me.
She's absolutely lovely. Thank you so much, Livia, for helping. But that is why, like, we did actually count 8 as well.
Yeah.
But it was one of those evenings where we were like, I think it was 8. And she confirmed it was indeed 8. So we are 100% confident that it was 8 dramas. And before we announce our winner, we have a correction to make. This is not a correction I want to make.
Yeah.
I wish we could correct in the other direction.
Yeah.
But last week we said the prize was $200 to spend at Fast Growing Trees. And that was our mistake. It was actually my mistake. I assumed. This is what happens when you assume. You make an ass out of you and me.
Nice. You just made that up.
Yes.
That's good.
I assumed it was $200 and it was actually $150.
Aw.
And we tried to, we asked Fast Growing Trees if they could make it $200, but they had already like signed, sealed, delivered $150. So we're so sorry. But someone does win it. We're just sorry. It's 25% less than it was supposed to be. Okay. And our winner is, hopefully you'll forgive us, is Sydney Shea Newsham. Congratulations. You have won $150 to spend.
And I'll take you to dinner at Denny's.
I was going to say, how many dinners cost $50 nowadays? But Sydney Shea Newsham, if you come to New York City, we'll buy you a coffee to make up for that $50.
And a coffee just so happens to be $50 in New York City now.
Yes.
An average coffee.
Exactly.
$50.
So please email us by this Friday at midnight to claim your prize. It is still a very good prize.
You can still get you can get 3/4 of one tree. No, it's not true. You can get a full
you
tree.
can get a whole tree.
You can
Definitely
get a bush.
whole
You
tree.
get 2 bushes.
Or
a
accessories
shrub.
for your existing trees.
Yeah, 2.5 shrubs.
Okay, so Andy, what is the word for next week?
Knee.
Keeping with tradition. Okay, Knee.
Yes.
I like I like
The
that
knights
one.
who say
Okay.
me.
So if you would like a chance to win a prize, then you will join in the Shandy Word Watch Fun and guess the number of times you predict the word knee will be uttered. Next week, we are talking the penultimate episode of this season. You will do so by using the numeral of the number of times. Do not write out, for example, the word 6. You would just use a 6. And you will do so by commenting either below this YouTube video that you're watching right now, or if you are a listener, then you will go over to Instagram, that's at Dear Shandy, and comment you with your guess under the reel, the Instagram reel advertising this recap that you're listening to right now. And I'm sorry that this is still so complicated. With Instagram's reformatting to vertical, what I've learned, or what we've learned, it's been kind of a painful discovery, is that thumbnails don't matter.
Nope. They don't.
After 4.5 years of toiling away making thumbnails, it turns out they do not matter one bit.
You'll never get that time back.
No, apparently not. So the first reel, there will be one reel that comes out first advertising this recap. You will comment your word watch guess there. And our exciting prize, if you guess correctly the number of knees there are, you will be entered in a draw, and then one name will be plucked, and that person will win. Andy, I happen to have some of this prize hidden in this table here, so you can grab yours. Oh, this is one of our newer sponsors, and I love this giveaway because you know what? This giveaway applies to everyone.
Everyone.
Across all genders, all lifestyles.
Who doesn't eat olive oil? Well, you do eventually eat it.
No, you're right. Who doesn't cook with or drizzle olive oil on whatever they eat? And I'm obsessed with Graza. It is single source, 100% pure, real olive oil. A lot of the olive oil we're buying from the grocery store
like most.
Are not.
The vast majority.
Yeah. If anything, they just have a tiny bit of olive oil in there. It's mostly like filler oils. Yeah. But I'm going to give the specific price. Okay. This is a very good prize.
It's an excellent prize.
You can get the trio. So that's the sizzle, the drizzle, and the frizzle, plus a trio refill, plus the drizz and dip. This is a $180 value. It's a fantastic prize. And also, you know what I love about this prize? You're actually going to use it.
And we should know we use it constantly.
Yes. Oh, truly. I mean, the fact that we got it delivered here in Seattle really says it all. Okay. So yes, Graza Extra Virgin Olive Oil, such a great prize. Be sure to get your guesses in by this Friday at midnight to be entered. Okay, Andy, that brings us finally to our predictions. I mean, I don't think our predictions have changed. I'm
wavering a little bit.
Oh.
Feeling a lot of pressure from the social medias.
Oh.
A lot of people are on the Giuliana team.
Versus Latia.
I'm thinking, for me, if he can get past the Mormonism, it's Latia.
Mm-hmm. It's a good final, too. It's fun. Zoe's still in the mix.
Please. But I will say this. As you said, it's a good final. I like a 50-50 final.
Oh, yeah. It's so interesting.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's 60-40 Giuliana now. I don't know. At least that's what the people think.
Stop being swayed.
I'm not going to be swayed.
Think,
I'm not going to be swayed. Latia. I'm team Latia.
Oh, you're staying with Latia. Okay. Latia. I'm still Giuliana, and we haven't seen anything new, but we both still think Zoe is going home. Can you imagine if suddenly Zoe made it to final 2 without ever having had her own date?
I can't.
Yeah.
But then again, he has sent people home who seemed like they were going to hometown.
That's true.
So who knows?
That's true. Okay, we're all on pins and needles. Okay, that's a wrap, Andy, for this recap. If you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what we will ask of you, and that is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram, and
TikTok,
leave us Apple and
Spotify
podcast ratings and reviews. Tell your friends and generally do all the things you would do to support a podcast you enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in, and a special thank you to the Shandys that came out to the opera and who we got to meet. You truly made our 2 weeks.
It was wonderful. It was really wonderful.
Yeah, it meant a lot to us. So thank you. And we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye-bye. Did you forget or were you purposely? Wooby. Wooby has such a cute haircut. She looks like a little lamb.
Come on, boo-boo.
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 Boo-boo.
Yes, wow. 2 weeks in a row.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye-bye. Dear Shandy.